Welcome to another StarBuzzFootballInc.com video preview. This time it's going to be for the NFC Championship game. Sunday's early game. We got the Green Bay Packers at the Chicago Bears. This is NFC football, one of the most storied rivalries in the conference and even in the league in general. But just two similar teams duking it out. They've already played twice this year, produced two good games. And this is what it's all about. It's not the frozen tundra of Lambeau Field this week. It's going to be the frozen tundra of Soldier Field. But I think we'll see an entertaining game nonetheless. It's not a can't wait game. Unfortunately, Bart Scott isn't involved, but I think it's still going to be a good one. A few things to watch in this game. Obviously, Aaron Rodgers is coming in just one of the on the heels of one of the most impressive performances by a quarterback in playoff history, in my opinion, anyhow. He was just threading the needle against the Falcons. Granted, the Falcons' pass defense isn't great, but guy had only 4 incompletions, threw the ball up and down the field, 300-plus yards, 3 touchdowns. Just looked great. But he's going up against the Bears' defense that's pretty stout. I think we all know that Lovie Smith, Rod Marinelli, they've got a good defensive unit there in Chicago. And, the big key for the Bears is going to be getting a pass rush. And obviously that's something they're capable of with Israel Adonijah, Julius Peppers, and Anthony Adams rushing on the interior line. And then we got linebackers like Brian Urlacher, Lance Briggs, who can come in on some blitzes. So it's going to be a big thing for the Bears. Got to get a pass rush. I think if you give Aaron Rodgers a little too much time, he'll just pick you apart. I don't care how solid your defensive secondary is. That's just something he's very capable of doing. If you look at the Bears' offense, it all rests on Jay Cutler. Played in his first playoff game last week and played really well. 2 rushing touchdowns, 2 passing touchdowns. The Bears' offensive game plan was executed pretty well. They were able to run the football effectively, and then they were also able to pass, took some of the pressure off Jay, and he looked very comfortable. So if you remember the last game of the year, Week 17, Green Bay ended up winning that game by a field goal. Chicago was running the ball well, decided at the end Mike Martz got a little pass happy, went away from the run, and it was all on that right arm of Jay Cutler, and he forced some throws and ended up throwing an interception on a potential game-winning drive. So it's going to come down to Jay Cutler. It's also going to come down to play calling, and if the Bears keep running the football and stick to that game plan like they've been very successful over the second half of the season, good things will probably come for them. The Green Bay defense, obviously, you got Charles Woodson, one of the top defenders in the NFL. Tremont Williams, defensive back, who's just been intercepting pass after pass this postseason. One of the more underrated guys in the league as far as defensive backs go. And also, obviously, it goes without being said, but with Clay Matthews rushing, long hair and everything, he can rush the passer like very few can in the NFL. So that Bears offensive line that struggled at times this year, just going to have to find a way to shield Matthews, shield the blitzes from the secondary and anything else down capers the Green Bay defensive coordinator throws at him. They're just going to have to give Jay some time and at least give him a chance to get out of the pocket where he's been effective running the ball and also finding open receivers. Ultimately, I think this game's going to come down to which team can run the ball most effectively. We've seen Green Bay passing the ball to set up the run, and James Starks, John Kuhn, Brandon Jackson running the ball well. Like I said before, Chicago needs to be able to run the football with Matt Forte, Chester Taylor, and a large part of that's gonna be on the shoulders of the offensive line. Overall, I think it's going to be a great game. It's going to be low scoring, 2 very good defenses. you know, in the end, you know, it's going to be close. But I like Chicago to win. They're at home. I know Green Bay's on a hot streak. They're on the heater. Everyone is you know, just on the Green Bay bandwagon. You know, I think they're going to come into Chicago and play against a very tough team, and obviously they know each other really well. But you know, at the end of the day, when the dust settles, I like Chicago 17, Green Bay 14. You know, Chicago's going to end up winning on the right leg of Robbie Gould down the stretch. But thanks for tuning in. Looking forward to the games this weekend. Enjoy them, and you know, there's no guarantees here. Don't go placing any bets and thinking I'll be able to cover your losses for you. But thanks for tuning in. StarBuzzFootballInc.com. Keep checking back for coverage of not only the championship games but also the Super Bowl down the road.